Today's topic, we're going to be doing our assignment on factoring by grouping. Yesterday, we took our notes on it. Today is the assignment. And I gave you a kickoff. It was to pick 3 questions that you guys want to do together as a group. And you're only doing the even numbers only. So go ahead and tell me which 3 questions you guys would like to go over today, or even if it's only 1 question that you want to go over. Just give me like up to about 3 questions that you all would like to go over. You can go ahead and type them in the chat now. And then I'll write them down and we'll kind of go over the most popular choices there. So go ahead and tell me which ones you guys want to go over. And it's the even numbers only. So I see 6, 14, 16, 12. And I'm not going to do all of the ones you guys say. I'll kind of pick the more difficult ones. 18, 10, 16, 18, 10, 16, 18. So far I have 6, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Anyone else want to kind of jump on requesting any of them? I'm not going to do all of those because that's too many questions. I would leave you guys with only 3 to do on your own. So let's see. From those questions, 6, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Maybe I can even circle them on my screen. Here are the ones that you guys requested. I'll circle them. 6, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. From those questions, go ahead and narrow it down to just your top 3 choices from those ones. If you could only pick 3 of those ones now we kind of narrowed it down. I would think, let's see, maybe number 16, number 18. So I see 10, 14, 16. So definitely number 16. Let's do number 16. And then, let me see, 10, 14. 14. I think number 18 is also a good one because that one's kind of weird. There's a couple of questions like that. And then also we'll do number 10. So we'll do those 3 questions, 10, 16, 18. Is that good together? As a class, I think those are good 3 choices. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on that. Your directions for this assignment, it says here, factor each polynomial, check your answers by distributing. So we're going to use the same steps from yesterday. And you're only doing the even numbers on this assignment, all of the even numbers only. We're going to go through and do a couple of them together. First one we'll do together, here's number 10. Let me erase all this so we can see a little bit better. Number 10, first one we'll do together. Your notes from yesterday said step 1 was to group your information together, the first 2 terms and the last 2 terms. What should I put in between the 2 sets of parentheses? There's a symbol. It's either add, subtract, multiply, or divide. What should I put in between the 2 sets of parentheses? It's an add, subtract, multiply, or divide symbol. So in case you forgot, you're putting a little tiny plus sign there. I see someone typed in add. So yep, you're going to put a little tiny plus sign in between because you're adding everything together. We just drew in some parentheses, okay? Then step 2 is to factor from each binomial. So here's my first set of parentheses. And we're going to factor out just from this first set only. Let's look at just our number. What's my GCF, greatest common factor? What number can I factor out here from the 10 and the 2? 10 divided by what and 2 divided by what? What's the biggest number I can divide both of these by? I see someone said 5. Can we do 10 divided by 5 and can we do 2 divided by 5? I see some 2s. Can we do 10 divided by 2, 2 divided by 2? And yeah, the better choice here would be 2 because you can't do 2 divided by 5, but we can do 2 divided by 2. The easier way to do that is to look at your smaller number. For this one, it's a 2. And then think of all of your choices and then check and see if it works for the other number. So let's take out a 2, and then we can do our division. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then what number can I put here in my circle? Tell me if it's a plus or a minus that number. Plus or minus that number. I need a symbol in front of it. I see some typing. Plus 1, perfect. So 2 divided by 2 is positive 1, so there's my 1. Okay, we did all of our coefficients, the numbers. I'm going to erase all of that. Now let's look at our variables. Can I take out the variable x? Yes, I can. Here's my x, but what exponent of x can I take out? Should I take out an exponent of 2 or exponent of 1? Perfect. We're going to take out an exponent of 1. So let's go ahead and clean this up. Okay, so now we've got division. X to the power of 2 divided by x to the power of 1. All you do is subtract your exponents. 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, here's my next term. X to the power of 1 divided by x to the power of 1. Subtract your exponents. What's my new exponent? 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay, let's keep on going on to the next variable. We're not going to clean it up yet. Let's see, we've got a variable y. Can I take out the variable y? No, it needs to be at every single term, so let's go ahead and put it back. It's currently sitting at the second term in the parentheses. So when we put it there, it needs to sit at the second term in the parentheses. So there's my y. Okay, so now let's clean up our information if we can. I can erase some of my 1s. The power of 1, I'm going to erase. Power of 1, erase. And then let's look at this. X to the power of 0. Let's do that one first. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to do those first. Anything to the power of 0 is really what? What does it really equal? A 1. Perfect. So I'm going to change this to times 1. Okay. And then anything times 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So I'm just going to erase that 1 right there. So it's really just positive 1y. Let me scoot this y over so it's not so awkwardly spaced. Okay, so now let's look at the 1 in front of the y. Should I keep that 1 or should I erase it? I see some erase. Erase, perfect. You guys are right. Let's go ahead and erase it because that 1 is invisible. We have a y there, so there is something there. So that's fine that we erased it. Let's go on to our next set of parentheses. If this set of parentheses is 5x plus y, what does this one have to equal? The same exact thing. So I'm going to go ahead and write down again my 5x plus y. Okay, so it helps sometimes if you put that down first, because then it can help you with the factoring part. So these are the same. And then now we can do our factoring. Let's just look at our numbers only. Negative 15, whoop, let me change that. Negative 15 divided by what is positive 5? And then also negative 3 divided by what is to positive 1. What can I take, what number, what would be my GCF, the number that I can factor out here? Negative 15 divided by what is positive 5? And negative 3 divided by what is positive 1? I see someone said a negative 3. So ask yourself, negative 15 divided by negative 3 is positive 5. And then negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1. So yep, that works. Let's go ahead and write it down. Negative 3. And then we just said it worked. Negative 15 divided by negative 3 is positive 5. That works. And then negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1. Perfect. I just put my little 1 there so we could see it. Going on to our variables. Can I take out an X? No, it's not at every single term. Going on to the next one, Y. Can I take out a Y? No, it's not at every single term. So you just copy those down. If it's at the first term, keep it at the first term. If it's at the second one, keep it at the second term. And then let's clean it up. I'm going to erase that 1 right here. Okay, so that was my step 1, was draw the parentheses. Step 2 is factor from the binomials. Step 3 is to factor out the common binomial. So let's set up my final answer here. My final answer. So I need to put information in the first set of parentheses and the second set of parentheses. Let me get this color here. This 5x plus y is your common binomial. From our notes yesterday, where did I put the common binomial? In the first set of parentheses or the second set of parentheses? For the final answer. Where did we end up putting the common binomial when we factored it out? Did we put it in the first set of parentheses or the second set? The second set. Perfect. That's how we were doing our notes. So let's keep it consistent. We're going to go ahead and put it in the second spot again. The 5x plus y. We took those out, factored them out. Now we need to plug in the information for the first set of parentheses. Well, what am I left with? These two things here. Just bring them down. Plug them in to x minus 3. And then you're all finished. So this is your final answer, assuming that you did it correct right here, step 3, that would be your final answer. Just go back and then check your work. FOIL it out. So 2x times 5x, multiply your numbers and add your exponents. We get 10x squared. And then here we've got a positive 2xy. Just put the variables next to each other in ABC order. Your inner, multiply your numbers. So we get a negative 15. And then there's your x. And your last, negative 3 times y is negative 3y. As long as that matches, that's just a way for you to go back and check your work, which it does match. So that means step 3, your final answer there is correct because we just checked our work. Okay? So that was number 10. Let me see the next one you guys requested. Number 16 was the next one we're going to go through here. We're following those same steps. Same steps. Number 16. Step 1, draw your parentheses. Put the little tiny plus sign in between. So we're technically still adding them. Then step 2, factor from each binomial. Okay. So what number can I factor out here? 12 divided by what? And 4 divided by what? What's the biggest number I can divide both of them by? Look at 4, your smaller number, and think of all of your options that you can divide it by. And then check and see if you can also do it with the 12. I see lots of you guys just said 4. Perfect, you guys are right. So let's go ahead and take out a 4. Okay, let's divide. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And then 4 divided by 4 is positive 1. Perfect. Going on to our variable, a. So I know I can take out an a. What exponent of a can I take out? To the exponent, to the power of what? Power of 2. Perfect. You're going to take out your smaller exponent, and for this one, it's the power of 2. Okay, so let's do our division. A to the power of 3 divided by a to the power of 2. Just subtract your exponents. 3 minus 2 is 1. And then our next one, a to the power of 2 divided by a to the power of 2. That would really just be a to the power of 0, because 2 minus 2 is 0. So that one's done. Let's clean up our information here. Is there anything we need to clean up here? No, there's no 1s or 0s, so that one's good. Here we have this a to the power of 1. Erase that 1. And then here we've got a to the power of 0. A to the power of 0, or anything to the power of 0, is really 1. 1 times 1, or anything times 1, is really 1. So all we're left with is a plus 1 right there. Okay, going on to our next one. Second set of parentheses. If this is 3a plus 1, that means this is also what? What is the second set of parentheses? It's also 3a plus 1, the same thing. So 3a plus 1. It helps us with writing out our final answer. Okay. So now let's do our factoring. Looking at just the numbers, there's an invisible 1 here. What number can I take out? 3 divided by what? And 1 divided by what? 3 divided by what is 3? And 1 divided by what is 1? I see 1. Perfect. If you're not sure, you can pretty much always take out a 1. So here's my positive 1. Do your division to double check. 3 divided by 1 is 3. And then 1 divided by 1 is 1. Perfect. Okay. Let's check our variables. Going on to our variables. Can I take out the variable a? No, I can't. It's not at every single term. So just bring it down here to the first term in the parentheses. Let's check out b. Can I take out the variable b? Yes, I can. It's at every single term. Perfect. So let's take out that b to the power of 1 because that's your smallest exponent. They just both happen to be a 1. That's fine. Do your subtraction. B to the power of 1 divided by b to the power of 1 is b to the power of 0. And then again, b to the power of 1 divided by b to the power of 1 is b to the power of 0. Just subtract those exponents. Let's clean it up. Get rid of your 1s if you can here. Get rid of your exponent of 1 and the coefficient of 1. So it's just a b. That one's done. Here, 3ab to the power of 0. What would I simplify this to for the final answer there? What would that 3ab to the power of 0, what would it be once you simplify it all the way? Just that first term that I have underlined. This one here. How can I simplify this stuff here in my circle? What would it say once it's all the way simplified? Instead of saying 3ab to the power of 0, how can I simplify that? What would be the most simplified way to write that? Ask yourself, how do we simplify b to the power of 0? And then can we simplify any more after that? So I see a 3 times 1. I see a 3a. Other people typing 3a. Okay, so let's see. I was seeing if you guys could do it all in one step or see if you can kind of work on it on your own without me going all the way through. So we're simplifying this one that I'm underlining here. This b to the power of 0 or anything to the power of 0 is really 1. So there's my times 1. Anything times 1 is just that anything. So 3a times 1 is really just 3a. So I got rid of that times 1. So once you simplify it, it's really just 3a. So awesome. Good job. Now when simplified, let's go on to our last one here. Okay. Sometimes it helps if you look at the power of 0 first. What would this be once we simplify all the way to the very, very end? What would that be? If you were to simplify the 1b to the power of 0, once you simplify it all the way, what are we left with? I see someone said 1. So first, in your head or on paper, simplify the b to the power of 0. Do that first. I see another person said 1. Okay, so let's go through it together. First, we'll simplify anything to the power of 0 is really 1. And then you got to simplify it one more step. 1 times 1 or anything times 1 is just that anything. So I erase that second 1. So all we're left with is just 1. Perfect. Going on to step 3, factor out your common binomial, that 3a plus 1. And where should I put that 3a plus 1? Here. In the first set of parentheses or the second set of parentheses? Where have I been putting it? In the second. Perfect. So here's my 3a plus 1. We took those out. And then what should I put in the first set of parentheses? Just try your best typing it out. You can type it in words as well if you wanted to. It might take you a second to type it. So you see 4a squared plus b, 4a squared plus 1. So let's see. The only two things we're left with here is the 4a squared. So I'm going to bring that down, 4a squared. And then also we've got this plus b. So plus b. Perfect. Good job. There you go. So this here, step 3, final answer. All you got to do is just check your work. Step 4, FOIL. Okay. FOIL it out. Multiply your numbers and add the exponents. 4 times 3 is 12. And then now we have a to the power of 3. Add your exponents. And then, outer. Anything times 1 is just that anything. So plus 4a squared. And then your inner, I. B times 3a. Whoops. Number times a variable. You just put the number first. And then your variables next to each other in alphabetical order. So A, B. And then L, your last. Anything times 1 is just that anything. Okay, so as long as that matches up here, which it does, then that means step 3, your final answer is correct. Okay, let's keep on going. Number 18. And if I'm going too fast, you want me to repeat something or go back to it, let me know. Let's keep on going here. Last one, number 18 together. Step 1, draw your parentheses. And then step 2, factor. Oops, let me just draw the first set here. I'm going too fast now. Factor from each binomial. What number can I factor out here from number 18? What coefficient number can I factor out? 5 divided by what? And a -1 divided by what? You can always take out a number. One, perfect. So let's go ahead and take out a 1. Okay, so then we divide. 5 divided by 1 is 5. And then -1 divided by 1 is -1. Going on to our variables. Can I take out the variable x? Yes, I can. X to the power of what? What exponent of x can I take out? Power of 2, perfect. You want to take out your smallest exponent, even if it's the same for both of them, that's fine. We're going to take out a power of 2. So now we've got our division, x to the power of 2 divided by x to the power of 2. Subtract. 2 minus 2 is 0. Then my next one, x to the power of 2 divided by x to the power of 2. Subtract your exponents. 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay. We've got another variable here, the variable y. I can't take it out, so I'm going to leave it next to the first term in the parentheses. So there's my y. And then let's simplify. Okay, here I can get rid of that 1. It's invisible, the coefficient of 1. Here, inside my circle, how can I simplify that? What would my final answer be when I simplify? 5x to the power of 0, y. How can I simplify that? Ask yourself, anything to the power of 0 is really what? And then simplify one step further. What would my final answer be when I simplify that 5x to the power of 0, y? I see someone said 5y. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to think about that. Write it down if you need to. So, yep, anything to the power of 0 is really 1. Anything times 1 is just that anything. So it's really 5y would be your final answer here. I'm going to scoot it over so it's not awkward. Okay, let's clean this one up. Again, anything to the power of 0 is really just 1. Anything times 1 is that anything. So -1 times 1 is -1. Okay. I'm going to scoot these parentheses over. Going on to our second one, if we know this is 5y minus 1, this is also 5y minus 1. Okay, so you're going to actually have a couple of questions like this. You'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 questions like this. So if you notice 5y minus 1, 5y minus 1 going from step 1 to step 2, that it's the same thing. The only thing that you can take out is a positive 1. If it matches perfectly like that, the only thing that you can take out is just a positive 1, because 5y divided by 1 is 5y. Negative 1 divided by 1 is negative 1. Okay, so that's a little easy trick, fast way to get through it. If it matches perfectly going from step 1 to step 2, just take out a positive 1. Okay, going on to step 3. Here's my 2 sets of parentheses. We're factoring out the common binomial, taking out this 5y minus 1. Where should I put it? We're going to put it in the second set of parentheses. Here's my 5y minus 1. We took those out. Now, what do I put in the first set of parentheses? What's going to go here? I see the variable squared plus 1, x squared plus 1. So, yep, let's see. We've got an x squared and a plus 1. Just bring those down. X squared plus 1. Okay, so step 3, that's your final answer. Here, go back and FOIL it out to check your work. Step 4, FOIL. Okay, multiply your numbers, add your exponents, or put your variables next to each other. So now we have 5x squared y in ABC order. And then your outer, anything times 1 is just that anything, so minus x squared. And then your inner, anything times 1 is that anything, so plus 5y. And then your last, negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. It matches. We checked our work. Step 3, your final answer is correct. Okay? So I'm going to zoom out here so you guys can see everything we did. That is pretty much it for today. You are doing, let me go back and circle them, the even numbers only. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Even the ones that we did together as a group, you're doing all of those even numbers only for the assignment today. Once you're finished, take a picture, submit it on Schoology, and then that's it for today. We'll have another meeting tomorrow going over a new topic, notes tomorrow. And if you have questions, send me a message here, send me a message on Schoology. I am updating grades on Focus today, so just be patient. I will try and do that today as soon as I can. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes to actually upload it. But if you're all done, you have no questions, you can go ahead and log out, and then I'll meet with you guys again tomorrow.